Good morning, sunshines. I feel like I've been away forever and ever. We'll wait for Brian. I know he's playing his last song right now. I was listening. That's okay. We'll wait for everybody to get done with that song over there. I just thought I'd hop on and get ready so that way people can just jump over. Hey, Amy. Good morning. How are you? I've missed talking with you. It feels like I've been out of the loop forever. I'm on StreamYard this morning, so yeah, I'm a little tired too. I got home yesterday afternoon and crashed. My shoulders are so messed up from traveling. Okay, you guys, quit barking. How'd the meetings go this week? I really do feel like I'm completely out of the loop. How did police commission go yesterday? I need to go back and who streamed that? Did somebody stream the whole meeting? I should say, did anybody get a chance to talk? I was in flight. Girlfriend. Hi, Miriam. Good morning. Good afternoon. The dogs are drinking. The dogs are barking. I'm over in the messy kitchen. Hey, Jojo Bananas. Sorry, we'll let the horses drink here. Really? Penny girl. It has been quiet. I feel like I'm completely out of the loop, which that's not such a bad thing because I have been out of listening to any drama. I've been in my own little world. You did? Good. Awesome. Who streamed it? They called you and Haggis. I've missed saying Jojo Bananas. Hold on, let me mute just for a second. Okay, Audit she was there, right? So Audit streamed. Did anybody stream like I streamed, like you could hear it? I'll go. I will. Yeah, I'm really curious as to see because I saw a little bit afterwards, but I was in the air during the meeting. So I was kind of bummed that I didn't get to listen. And then by the time I got home last night, I was so tired. So, okay, Ganja streamed for Public Works on Monday. Good. Okay, I'll go catch it on audits. I know somebody did Miriam's, and I saw that, but I didn't listen to it. I fell asleep. I missed you guys. I feel so left out. I was having FOMO so bad. Well, thank you. It's better than the backdrop that's behind me. because my kitchen is a mess. Nah, that's okay, Amy. I'll go back and look. It should be in the morning because she usually starts. I'll just go through. Thank you, though. I'll look for it. It won't be that hard to find. So, what did you guys think about Monday stream with the law firm? Boy, that my plan was to go to a McDonald's because I knew we were going to be on the road. My plan was to go to a McDonald's because every town has a McDonald's that has Wi-Fi, and lo and behold, no, to my dismay, all towns in the Northeast do not have McDonald's. Amy, you need to get on that. They need to figure out their Wi-Fi. I was in a very small town in Vermont and lucky to get my hotspot working. But that's okay because it gave our guests the time to talk. And that's what was so important, was to introduce them. That was a surprise, Amy. I've been waiting for, it was supposed to be Kimberly. Hey, good morning, Style. Well, thanks, Miriam. Service was not the best over there. So getting text, sometimes I got all my texts at once. Like all of a sudden I got 15 texts because it depended on where your service was. That was aggravating. So I did get all your questions, and I wanted to do a Q&A, but we had to respect Anne's time. She had to go to another. They will have to file separate lawsuits. And I'm actually going to let a bigger channel address next steps. I went through all the questions and I answered all the questions. And there is more. They on purpose couldn't say the word Scientology. And I know a lot of people. I'm more than happy to answer those questions. I was thinking, okay, you guys tell me. I have a stream planned for tomorrow night to do a Q&A and to answer questions. Or do you, and my other thought was, as I had done kind of like a preview of the questions and what needs to be said for the bigger channels to do. What do you think? Do you think I should just do the Q&A tomorrow night? I can just do both. A love with me would be awesome. I think a love with me would be awesome too, Jojo Bananas. Hey, Haggis. Good morning. I know, Joe. I'm just giving you shit. That's funny. I missed you too. Okay, that's what I do. Because I know Audit said she would come on with me also. I love shit too, darling. Okay. I did save the questions, Style, and there's only one of them that I'm not going to be able to answer of your questions, and that's about the e-meter. They know of that, and they're very conscious of that. Excuse me. Did you go on the stream, Amy? No, I didn't see that. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. I literally was in internet hell. Okay, so that's the plan. Then I will continue on with my Q&A. That's wild. I'm going to have to go look at that. You didn't show much of your face? Did she have a panel or something? Nice. Yeah, and if you have questions now, you're more than welcome to ask them even now. We can talk about them. Style, if you want me to address a couple of those questions here, let's talk about them. Oh, okay. Style had a question. In fact, here, I'll pop them up because I copied them all. And okay, so let's go through some of Style's questions because some of them are going to be a case by case. Any and all of them that want to. Miriam, we'll cover the channel. And I put in the channel description for tomorrow night's live, I put Anne and Natalie is her assistant's emails. She wants people to email her direct. I mean, is that just like mind-blowing or what? Don't send it to this general email. She wants to hear direct from people. So, yeah, I mean, let's cover a couple of styles because they were general and they were very great questions. One question was, how do you select expert medical testimony to address long-lasting or neurological effects of abuse or trauma? Thanks. And the question I know from them, because we've talked about this, is that it's going to be on a case-by-case basis of what's necessary for the individual claims. These cases are not a combined case. Very cool. They are not combined. So it's not like there's a civil case right now going on with Baxter, and Gwain. And it's 3 plaintiffs that all have the similar because they were on the ship and they have the same instances and they combined their case as plaintiffs. This is not that. This will be individual cases. So Style may have a case, Amy may have a case, Haggis may have a case, and they're all going to be litigated in privacy. Hey, Afila. Thank you. They're all going to be litigated and have their own privacy requirements in their own case. What's coordinated is behind the scenes, the administration and the judicial process. So to bring a medical or medical testimony or neurological effects into each individual one, they would have to bring them in as their own. Now, if they were to select a person that was an expert in brainwashing and the e-meters, because I know this is another one of your questions, or the processes, what they can do is they can bring that person into deposition, and then all cases would be able to share that one testimony and that one deposition, rather than having to bring in an expert witness in each individual case and claim. Style, is that helping you with that question? But that's how the coordinated claim would work, is they could deposition an expert medical witness. Okay, I'll get to that sign. I will get up to that, Miriam. That's why I asked that question. Hell, let's just do this because we're like, let me finish Styles' questions. You guys are getting me so ADD. I'm so ADHD. Okay, so how do they deal with obtaining discovery when it's not fully provided or not forthcoming? That is their question. I'm not going to be able to do that, but I'm sure two badass women are going to be able to do whatever they need to do. Yeah, so they're going to be looking at, because they're not malpractice attorneys, but they're going to be looking at case by case. And so let's say that instance that I gave before where Haggis and Amy and Style and somebody from New York and whatever, all the attorneys get together and they coordinate all of this. So yeah, they're going to look at all of that. Cajun Juju, I mean, even to go further back, Amy, is Crazy Love. We talked about this back in October. I already knew about the LDS case. But Cajun had seen where they had done a podcast and emailed it to me. And so this is how advocacy works. Is we work together on shooting ideas, talking about things, going, this will work. And then somebody having the wherewithal, like Cajun going, hey, Mona, did you hear about this? Nope, I didn't see that podcast. I already knew about the claim. I already knew about the case, but that podcast was incredible, right? So yeah, we all get credit on this. It's not a me thing. It's not a Cajun thing. It's not a Crazy Love thing. It's not an Aaron thing. This is a everybody team. Yeah, that podcast was amazing. So, style audit. Next question was, what typical defense tactics you come up against? How have you dealt with them? And again, that's theirs, but you know darn well their defense tactics, especially coming from the Catholic Church or the Mormon Society or the Boy Scouts, they've probably run across a few of them. And then the e-meter question. Again, the e-meter question is going to be, that's going to be part of their process. I know. Yeah, I know, Haggis. And I know we emailed and I vented and I really thought about pushing back on that. And I did a little bit, but we're going to do another live. I have another live scheduled Friday night about the other cases that we have on the dockets. And so this is just the tip of the iceberg, you guys. And we got bigger fish to fry. Yep, that is part of the questions that I have in here, Amy. They are very prepared for it. And Kimberly and I have talked about that. And she had already been forewarned about it, but we talked further about it. I'm telling you, you guys, I've talked to different law firms before this. The Delphi case, the lawyers that were handling the Jane Does. Thank you, Style. Thank you. Okay, I understand that. Yeah, I'm very sorry for not having the time to do the Q&A. Good morning, Eyes to See. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, exactly, Style. We all really did receive it. And like the next day I called. Let me give you as a victim's advocate. It's harder than hell, first of all, for attorneys and lawyers to even talk to the victims. I don't know what it is with lawyers and law firms. It's like they're either afraid or they don't want to take it on or they don't see the potential in it. I don't know. But it was kind of crazy. I'm pretty good at writing case proposals and hey Irish, and I got ghosted, I got turned down. It was horrible. And then when I called to just even talk to the team there at Andrews and Thornton, they were pretty receptive. And then Kimberly called me like it was like 10:30 o'clock my time at night. And shoot, we talked for a couple of hours. I was so amazed. Yep, not this one. She is, oh my gosh, she's a tiger. Just, I loved the interaction. I loved how she asked questions. I love how she said, nope, you have my ear. Let's go. I appreciate these people. And as I said, she doesn't want, I mean, her and Natalie, her assistant, will both be taking emails from people and they're not pushing it off to a general email box. They're serious about this shit. They're serious. Mm-hmm. It definitely. And I kept waiting for the other shoe to fall. Those that have been my confidants and my sounding boards know that I've been waiting for the other shoe to drop. Hey, Power Lies. I've been waiting for them to go, oh, nah, JK, we're just not going to take this. And they haven't. Hi, Rika. Good morning. This team is incredible. That's right, La Osa Nostra. And good morning, Antics. Sorry if I missed you guys. I'm sitting here just babbling, not saying good morning. But truth be told is that it isn't. I really wanted to do the introduction only because I've been working my ass off on this with the team. I really have. I mean, they are incredible. The team is incredible. But this is bigger than Mona. So that's why I said, should I go ahead and just let the bigger channels bring up the questions and Style, my apologies then on that then. But it truly was, we were up against time because she had to go to a case. And I had been waiting for her to get back from vacation and her to get back to do this and waiting and waiting and waiting. So I didn't want to stall it any longer. I took the time we needed to take. I understand that, Dylan. Because it needs to take its path. And I'm sorry. But it definitely will take its own path. Mm. Yeah, I mean, and I clearly heard, because Dylan and I talked too about that. I clearly heard that. I took it to the team, and they heard it too, Dylan. Your opinion, your experience, and what you say matters. It 100% does. It's always Brian's fault. I missed you too, Kathy. And I'm sorry your water's getting turned off. Hey, Brian. I got to catch a couple of Brians while I was gone. I didn't always get to talk, but I tried to say hi. Dylan, you are very important, and your thoughts are very valid. And I promise you, I listened. I really did. Yeah, but we got some more stuff going on, and I can't wait. Yep, they have. And Kimberly, I know that in the podcast she explained, and she didn't talk a lot because Anne decided to say more, but she was a prosecutor, and it wasn't just gang rape; it was child stuff and abuse and deaths and icky stuff that I don't even like talking about. But that's her level. Just badass people. Okay, so do you want a little teaser about the civil rights case that I have tagged for to talk about Friday night? You're right. Each is a division. Okay. Because I'm kind of excited. We'll talk more about it Friday night because there is a call to action for that. But when I did the case proposal, because see, I have a bigger picture in mind. Hey, Aussie, oi, oi, oi. And thank you for being a member, Aussie, oi, 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 Marie. And I know Jason had super chatted me the other night, so that way I saw his comment, and I didn't see it till after I was going through. And Dylan, I know that, and it's not. I love you, and I'm not giving you sympathy. I, I'm using you for your experience, and for your education, and for your knowledge. You are a wealth of knowledge. And I don't say that for sympathy. I say that because you know what you're talking about. And unfortunately, I'm sorry that it's because of the wounds. I feel horrible, absolutely disgusted that these people ever hurt any of you. I'm disgusted by that. But sometimes in order to get it done, how do you put this? You have to kind of put some blinders on about the emotional part of it and turn it into facts, because if you don't, it hurts too bad. Even as an onlooker. And yeah. Yeah, don't be running into things, antics. Yeah. And that is what, it does. It takes years. And that's why the statute of limitations is absolutely frickin' stupid on the legal sense. But this is how you effectuate change. If statute of limitations needs to be switched and changed because of the trauma and the length of time it takes to get out of a cult, maybe that's the change that needs to happen. But the change isn't going to happen unless you have cases and reports. Did you listen the other day? Were you happen to be on there Monday, Dylan? They took that to heart. Billin just said, or Billin, Dylan. I'm sorry, I'm not even caffeinated enough. That they would make sure that those support structures are in place. Your words mattered to them, Dylan. It really did. I I cannot thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough for your input. You are so knowledgeable. What you said mattered. But I'm going to give it to them. When I said it, they said, "Oh, okay." I mean, no questions. But that's how serious they are about wanting to make sure that this is done right. It's not about a lawsuit. It's not. I'm absolutely blown away shocked, because that's what we've been used to. And I'm sorry you were a lesson, but thankful. Again, Dylan, you matter. Your words matter. They're appreciated and they're taken to heart. So, anyways, when I was talking to Kimberly about the broader picture of where I want to take this, and I'm not the one taking it, but you know what I mean, where I see the advocacy, envision the advocacy of what can happen with the advocacy between the criminal and the civil and the legislative. And we need to build it with the baby steps. Yeah, I'm a take the magic wand, bippity boppity boo, boink, I want it done. I have the patience of a gnat. Truly, I do. I don't like baby steps. I don't like doing things. I just want it done. I hate process. But I know that there's a value to it. And so this case, the civil rights case, the federal case, and the legislative congressional case will all build for the end result that we want to see happen. The civil case, when I was talking to Kimberly, they don't do civil rights. However, she coordinated with a badass civil rights team attorney. And I'm not going to give the name because we're a step behind where the sexual assault cases is. And so right now I'm going to be asking for referrals for civil rights violations. Civil rights violations have different statute of limitations. They're really, really, really small, really, really short. So, as in the sexual assault cases, some of them, the statute of limitations can go back to 40 years. To where the civil rights one, you don't. You have a very short time limit, like in a couple of years. So, civil rights being discrimination of race, color, creed, religion, sexual identity, human rights, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom, the right to bear arms, the right to not have your house. What's the other one? Plead the fifth. There's all those rights. So those are all the civil rights. We have a frickin' badass law firm. I already did the original claim just for the sake of privacy, just like the privacy in the other claims. I'm not going to mention who, but I already have the initial claim to bring it in. They are interested in bringing, I already have a civil rights lawyer, and she and her partner have both argued in front of Supreme Court. They, one of them is a cult survivor themselves. So they completely get it. But that's on a civil rights level. And that I'll open that up to a few select cases to bring in information. And it will be just like this one. It'll be a coordinated case. Well, that's mainly where they're going to be helping, but they're individual cases. So it's not all the protesters. I know, and I can say it because Audit probably would say this. She is bringing a case probably against where she was, where her rights were violated from her going down the street. Absolutely not. It is not relevant only to the California cases. Coordinated cases can be anywhere. Now, for the sexual assault cases with Andrews and Thornton, they happen to have the ability to litigate in any state. They can go national. But here's the deal, folks. Let's say I lived in North Carolina, and this happened to me. Then, even if the law firm and I sent all my stuff, and if I called in, don't you think if I had a good enough case, that law firm isn't going to reach out to people in North Carolina to say, hey, this person needs a lawyer. They're going to know who to connect with. That's the power of this. But if the abuse happened in California or Florida or wherever they can, they could represent you. But that's all information. You're not gonna call and go, "Hey, I live in North Carolina and the abuse happened in North Carolina." And they're gonna go, "Oh, no. Okay, see ya." They're gonna help you figure it out. I just they're not gonna drop it. Exactly. And I'm not the one to make those decisions. I'm not going, "Oh, geez, Amy has a horrible I don't think she's gonna have a good case. I'm not gonna refer her." It's not a Mona thing. It's not an audit thing. It's not a surge thing. It's not an Aaron thing. It's not a Jenna thing. It's not a DOA thing. It has nothing. It's not a Laura thing. It has nothing to do with that. This is a case by case. This is an opportunity. This is your opportunity to do something. In the LDS case, they have 91 cases. 91 cases. And in that case, it's pretty much limited to SA, have a great swim antics. SA and where they hid SA. They 91 cases, active cases. And that's not all of the people that are just either their statute of limitations or to where the case wasn't truly viable, but they were valuable in their information and became witnesses to pattern and precedents. Thank you, Antics. Yeah, well, I wish I could just do the bippity boppity boo method. I'm definitely there. Are the cases against individual people or hierarchy leader within the cult? Irish, it's case by case. So Amy could have a case against the Church of Scientology and RTC and David Miscavige and or Moxon, or I'm just throwing names out there. That's a good question, Amy. I don't know. So it would depend on who their case is against because they are individual cases on their own merits. I don't know about that, Amy, if old cases can be retried. I don't know. Logistically, you would think, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know whether or not it could, like if they had a criminal case, it could go civil, or if they had a civil, they could go criminal, or if it could get reopened. I hope they do, Amy. That's exactly what they're supposed to be doing. That would be a beautiful thing. That's what's supposed to happen. And I'm going to say this with true, just real bluntness and honesty, is that, lawyers got to feed their family. And if another lawyer sees that there's a coordinated case and that they could profit by it because they've got to feed their family, they probably are going to jump on this. Because civil cases usually have money attached. They haven't. The only case that they've won recently was Willersheim, or against them was Willersheim, and that one got reduced so much. But that's an old case. That's not like recent. They have not had any criminal ones that they've lost because they've been bought off, paid off, nothing. And all of the civil cases have been settled. Yeah, in some instances may not be for monetary damages. It may be to effectuate change. If I had my suit, I could say the remedy that I want is no more kids in Scientology. Yep. Hey, MD. Good morning, darling. Good morning. So, close your eyes, take the blinders off about the emotional and the true facts. You're welcome, MD, but it's for Lara and Serge and Liz and everybody you're fighting for. This will take this to that level, eyes to see. And this just gives the opportunity. That's been the problem, has been trying to find a law firm brave enough and okay enough. Yeah, we need to stop this, MD. Good morning, great grandma. Well, thank you. I missed you guys too. That's right. So what did they do in the Mormon case already? Mormon, LDS, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So they took it not only to the level of all of the coordinated claims, but they've already made change in Utah, in which, Crazy was part of helping write that new law. Did you guys know that? For all whatever, who you love, who you don't love, all your different wars, whatever. I am staying out of the tribalism, have stayed out of the tribalism, going to stay out of the tribalism. I am not voting anybody off the island. That's just not where my energy lies. Back to it. So they effectuated change already. And now in the state of Utah, all nonprofits have to have all of their people go through the predator checks and background checks. It wasn't like that before. So did it fix everything? No, but it's change that's starting. Remember, we were talking about, hey, T, good morning, blue haired, brilliant bombshell. We were talking about different legislative changes that could be suggested. You know, this is how you do that. You don't do it by just telling a sad story. You go in, and in the eyes of Congress, in the eyes of the law enforcement, Scientology's done nothing wrong. And I'm not saying they haven't, because they have. But on paper, on record, they haven't, because they've settled all their civil claims and they haven't been hit with anything criminal. So on paper, legally, they haven't done anything wrong. This is why reporting is so important. This is why getting these cases going is so important. Good question. That's right. Yet, that's right. But this is advocacy. It's taking the pieces of the puzzle and putting it together and thinking, how can we make it work in the end? Poor Power Lies has had to listen to me. He is, and he has been. He's been waiting for me to do the introduction on Monday to finish talking to him about it. I couldn't tell him about it, but he definitely is interested. You know, the federal claim will be based on the UNOI claim. It's going to mirror it. Then we get to play with the FBI. But each of these pieces of the puzzle lead to a different piece. It'll stack. So that's oh, very good. Yeah, I'm going to apologize, T. I did not watch anything this week, really, but I need to go back and watch your video. Power Lies, I've been so appreciative of you letting me bounce stuff off from you. There's a point where you point to the bleachers and you say, this is where I'm hitting the ball. And that's where we're at right now. And the success of this has nothing to do with me. The success of this has nothing to do with Aaron. The success of this has nothing to do with Laura or Dylan. The success of this is each individual that has had issues reporting and being willing to give their voice and their experience. That's where the success comes from. Oh, ouch. I'm sorry, my leg's spasming. No worries, Haggis. Loves you, darling. Loves you. So we're just at the point now that I'm just relationship building and bringing those opportunities, and the success is going to be in the survivors and other advocates being brave enough to start taking those matchups and taking the opportunities and saying, I can do this. The bravery is where it's going to be. So as I said, I'll stick with doing that because you guys think we should still, but I feel, what's my biggest saying, you guys? It's amazing what can be accomplished if you don't worry about who gets the credit. And I'm okay. I feel in my inners that we need to make sure that the bigger channels put this out. Because that's what's important. Yep, their house of cards are definitely falling. And they're made out of flimsy cards. Style, I waved at you when I flew over you yesterday. Absolutely. Miriam, you are 100% correct. It's not about credit or attention. Thank you, Jojo Bananas. I appreciate that. It is, and that's where we need to get it, Amy M. Is I kind of was waiting for that introduction and to make sure that I had the advice and guidance. And I don't feel that we're ready to go like CNN. When it is time, it will. This has its own legs at this point. I'm talking about the Andrews and Thornton case. Case is because that's not the only case, it's the coordinated case. But it does need to get out of the echo chamber for reporting for this stage of it. And that's what needs to happen, and it's going to grow its own legs. It has its own legs. Yep, that's where it needs to be. That's why I'm saying the bigger channels just need to take this and run. And I'm completely okay with that. I'm okay. I'm at this point. That's exactly right, Peter. No victim, no crime. Peter was listening to me the other day. Yep, no victim, no crime. And I say that with respect. If somebody doesn't report it, it didn't happen. Yeah, I have a few that I want to put this out to, but it's more for getting more people involved in reporting. But I'm going to be real honest, you guys. This will take off on its own. I don't, you know, I'll continue to push for the next day or so, but I've got other things now that I need to work on to get them to this stage. Nope. In the law enforcement end of it, no victim, no crime. That's right, Marie. Yeah, there are definitely some big platforms to get this out. They did not. However, I asked them, and as I said, it kind of got a little bit miscombobulated because I was stuck out in the middle of internet hell. Afila, even on the description of this one, there are 2 emails. Kimberly Degonia's email and her assistant, Natalie. It's a Spanish name. I can't figure out how to say it. Her assistant and her emails are on this one. And maybe T or somebody, could you put them on here? They're on the description. And they want people to contact them direct. That's what's so freaking awesome about this, is you're not being sent to a general email box. It's not in the description of this one? Oh, oops, I'm sorry. Here, let me find it. My apologies. This is Natalie. She is can you guys see that? Penigua? Penigua? I can't figure out how to say her last name. I'm really screwing it up. I'm sorry, Natalie. That is her email. And here is, hey, Sophia. And here is Kimberly's. Paniagua? Paniagua. You know how I am about being able to pronounce names. I'm sorry, Amy. Panigua. And that is Kimberly's email. How are you doing, Sophia? And I'm going to say this. If you are international, because we did have a few people that live overseas that already interviewed, that if you were in the United States for your issues, Paniagua. Thank you, Rika. Paniagua. I'll remember that. But if you were in the United States and had issues, email them. It doesn't matter that you're living overseas. If you were trafficked because they opened it up to trafficking, email them. It doesn't matter if you're living overseas. That's how serious these people are. And again, I'm not going to give names, but you guys can probably guess who I'd already talked to. And good morning, Peter. Peter, you didn't have to sit on the couch Monday. I asked her on the live, and they are taking human trafficking cases as well. Yes, ma'am. I was wondering who Greta was, Rika. That's funny. Yeah, if you re-listen to when I asked her, she was talking about people contacting her with SA, with trafficking, with those types. Scientology up north, I don't think. I'm gonna say if there is a serious enough crime involved that if you were to be interviewed or if you were to email them with your experience and your story, that if your case would not be part of their coordinated case, they are going to assist you in finding the right one. And I'm going to leave it at that. So if somebody were to email them with the case of trafficking, we're going to let them decide. We're going to let the lawyers be lawyers. Yeah, I'm just, again, I kept thinking, when is the other shoe going to fall on this? And it just didn't. They just continually, it's almost enough to make you cry, is how responsive these people are. Almost like they were sent from heaven. Yeah, it's a good point, Irish. I know. And it's not like, oh, well, we don't see how we can profit off this, so we're just going to ghost you. That's happened to me so many times already. So what they meant by that, the organization, she was being general, talking about us as a group, non-group of people that are um, performing advocacy. Sure, Kathy. Okay, thank you, Amy. And so she was being general in her terms, not wanting to talk about specifics. And so she was using our advocacy efforts. That's what she was referring to as when she was saying organization, because she was referring to kind of like Serge and I, and the rest of us, the survivors. She wasn't necessarily talking about us as an incorporated organization or a group. She was talking about us as, and trying not to be specific. Yeah, it was a question. But that's what she meant. And again, if for any of those that weren't here when I first started off talking about this, is that they specifically did not mention the word, the S word. It's both. It's strong women and men. And there's still strength that needs to happen. This is baby steps. It's certainly the fight isn't I don't even see the end line here, but um, baby steps. And when you're thinking of it, you think of the baby step you can take today. Today, I'm going to email them just to get an appointment. Today, I'm going to think of emailing them today. And then when that happens, you think of the next baby step. I mean, I consistently and constantly think of what Miriam Francis has gone through, all of her baby steps, and the disappointments and the setbacks. And I could just cry with everything that she's been through. The people that have just buffaloed her and just written her off, and how consistent she has been in pushing for the justice that she needs. Because justice is going to look different for each of them. Oh, spam call. Justice, and she kept going. Yep, and she's still going. It is heart-wrenching to hear the stories of just Serge and Miriam, because they've given their stories so much, they're so public about it, that I know everybody else's stories are horrendous also. But and to not take it as an attorney or as law enforcement and just run with it. I mean, what the hell, people? How does your stomach just not go into a knot and say something has to be done? Hey, Kirby's mom. Hola, tuya. I just don't get it. But let's do these baby steps. And I'm going to tell you that's who reminded me of putting my patient's panties on and doing baby steps was Miriam. One step at a time. She will. She will definitely get the justice that she deserves. And I have to tell you that that she's been a huge inspiration to me. Because unfortunately, she's been through this process a few times. So I've had to rely on her to tell me, this is how this happens, this is how that happens. You need to explain this. Because by all means, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here, you guys. I'm like completely winging this. They do. The LAPD does. I agree. Eyes to see, yes. But oh, Kathy, I've never even had a speeding ticket. So are you telling me? I have no clue. I'm totally winging this. Um, in the eyes of law enforcement, in the eyes of the legal system, in the eyes of Congress, in specific, Scientology has not done anything on record. So LAPD, even though they know about it, in theory, they 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 can get an ick feeling. They can say they don't want to, but it would be discrimination not if there's nothing on record. I know we know too much. We know too much. We understand. We understand all of that financial. We understand all that. Yeah, they have. I agree with that, Kathy. Sometimes it would be nicer if somebody were able to say, okay, this is how here's the template of what you need to do. Because for the last year, I've been really racking my brain and doing it the hard way. Not really. Not really. They've sidestepped it all, Marie. On record, on paper, they've sidestepped it. If a case goes to court and it gets settled before it actually gets adjudicated, that's not on record. That's only alleged. Yeah, you're right. I cheat sometimes, but I'm not too great at ChatGPT yet. But I'm gonna be real honest, is that's why I come on here and talk with you guys, because y you get all these ideas and you go, "Oh, well, that's a good idea. Huh, Eyes to See said this, or Power Lies said this, and Dylan said this," and it gives me more ideas to work with. But back to the no victim, no crime. If you don't have victims reporting, nothing happened. Yep, just like that's a perfect example. No victim, no crime. We all know it. You all know it. The justice system all knows it, but nothing got settled. So it was all alleged. And until things start popping up as pattern and precedents in the reporting, it's going to stay alleged. No victim, no crime. And I'm just being blunt. They do, and I know we've offered that, Amy M, to give them a cult course. I don't know that that's what I would call it, but maybe more specifics in how the operations of Scientology works. Yeah, and Marie, over here in the States, it's more of a criminal action, a criminal case that needs to happen, but they've sidestepped it. One is because of the statute of limitations. As of, I think, 23, maybe 24, child abuse no longer has statute of limitations. But before then, statute of limitations was 1 or 2 years. I mean, I won't say that word. How the heck does child abuse have a 1 or 2 year statute of limitations anywhere? That's redonkulous. That's part of changes that need to happen. These things need to be on record. There needs to be cases, reports. People need to report. People need to get this on record. And then changes need to happen because of it. But that would be an incredible thing. Now they had the statute of limitation um, to where they waived it for a couple of years for the sexual. And there's only one case that got litigated because of that. But I mean, that's ridiculous. It's frickin' ridiculous. They do. Right now in California they have what's called AB 2777, and yeah, truly, that's what it is, great grandma. Adults writing the laws for themselves. Hey, Journey 2020. But AB 2777 right now is if your abuse happened, I think it's after 2009, and you can go up to 40 years old. You can report right now until the end of 2026. After 2000, so there is a statute of limitations pause right now. That's excellent, T. Yeah, and it really just depends on what is in your area. But I mean, if you were in the US with Scientology, then report. Yep. It's got to be reported. If it's not reported, it didn't happen. And I'm not saying that meanly. It did happen, and your experience is valid. But on record, if you don't report, it didn't happen. Oh, good, Marie. You don't have a limit in Australia. That's good to know. Mersey Oats, because they did, well, sexual abuse of kids after, as I said, 23 or 24 is no statute of limitations anymore anywhere. Anyways, so they did a reprieve of the statute of limitations for a longer time period, so that way they could bring in more claims. It's kind of confusing. I don't really know Meritzy Oats, but in that way, that is from organizations knowing about the abuse. And it's not fair, but that was a way, like when they did the sexual abuse one that Mike Rinder didn't tell anybody about. I agree, Susan P. They would not know what a crime against them was, and if it's normal practice, there needs to be no limitations. I agree. That's something that needs to be changed. But without the reports, without the legislative changes, without advocacy, it's not going to change. And if they don't have reports of the abuse and there's no suits of judicial reports and no suits, then why do you need to make a change? See, that's why all this needs to happen. Because it doesn't happen just on stories and allegations. Sad. That's sad that it can't, but it doesn't. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to scoot. Right, correct. Ouch. Mother Nature is being mean to me. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna end stream. I will still have my Q&A tomorrow night for those that aren't up this early in the morning. And we will do the other cases on Friday night. But I'll do a Good Morning Sunshines tomorrow morning. I love you guys. I'm going to sting. You're welcome, Peter. And if you'd have given me an address, I'd have sent you your art too. Goodbye, you guys.